And good morning, mathematicians. In this video, I will be going over your Unit 6 test review in preparation for our test on Wednesday. Okay, I have to let you guys know that I will not be there on Wednesday because I will be at Medieval Times with my 7th graders. So just a heads up, okay? But before we begin, I just want to say I'm so proud of each of you guys. We made it to the end of Math 8. This is our final test, and then after this, I mean, Anthony keeps saying it's National Movie Day, so I feel like, we're due for some annual movie days, okay? All right, but again, I'm so proud of you guys, and hang in there. Just this last test. All right, let's get into it. So it says for exercise 1 and 2, we're going to use exercises 1 and 2. We're going to use the following information. Is that... No. Okay. Ski resort rents equipment to members. So skis rent for $8 per day, and snowboards rent for... There's a lot of grammar issues here. And snowboard rent for $4 per day. Find the daily revenue, R. So it looks like our equation is going to be set equal to R if members rent 7 skis and 5 snowboards. So we know that skis cost $8 per day, right? So we're going to multiply $8 by 7. And then we also know that snowboards are $4 per day, and there are 5 of them. So let's find the total revenue for this. So that's 8 times 7, which is 56, plus 20. So that's going to be $76. That is their revenue for that day. Then find the daily income if members rent 5 skis and 7 snowboards. I'm not sure if income and revenue are supposed to be different. Honestly, I feel like they're supposed to be the same, so I'm just going to set them equal to R again. Okay, so this time we have 5 skis. Okay, and then we have 7 snowboards. Oops, wrote this backwards. Although it doesn't matter, but I want to be consistent. So we have 8 times 5, which is 40, plus 28, and our daily revenue is going to be $68. And there we go, we're done with question number 1. All right, number 2, it says let X represent the number of ski rentals, let Y represent the number of snowboard rentals. Write an equation that relates X and Y to the daily income goal of $80. Okay, so this one we want our equation to be equal to this $80, right? So we know that $80 is going to be on the other side of our equal sign. We know that X and Y and some sort of mathematical operation is going to be on the left side, right? Remember that income is the combination of these two things, and we did add them over here, so I think we're going to do the same. Okay. You may be thinking, well, Mr. RG, something might be wrong because the number of ski rentals, X, plus the number of snowboard rentals shouldn't be 80. It's the daily income. So we're going to add the prices onto this equation. So skis rent for $8 per day, so now we have 8X. And then snowboards rent for $4 per day. And so now we have an equation like this. 8X plus 4Y is equal to 80. All right, now they want us to graph this. So I'm going to graph this. I'm going to change my equation because right now it's in standard form. So I'm going to change it to slope-intercept form. I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides. So I have 4y is equal to negative 8x plus 80. Okay, and then I'm going to divide every term in this equation by 4. So now I have y is equal to negative 2x plus 20. All right, so now we can graph this. It might be good to, I'm thinking of going up by, I'm just going to go up by 2's. How does that sound? So on my y-axis here, I'm just going to go up by 2's, each tick mark. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. So y I know is my snowboard rentals. So I'm going to label my y-axis. So this is the number of snowboard rentals. So I'm just going to say number of snowboards. And then that must mean that my x-axis is going to be number of skis. then let's see, how am I going to label this? I think I'm also going to label the x-axis by 2's. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. Okay, let's go ahead and graph this. So my y-intercept seems to be at 0, 20. So b is at 20. And I'm going to change colors here. So there we go. So there's my first point. And my slope is going to be -2. Okay, I'm going to write that down here. M is equal to -2, which is the same as -2 over 1. So this slope makes me want to go down 2 and then to the right 1. So that's what I'm going to do. Be very careful here because our tick marks are going up by 2's, right? So in this case, I might actually change this to -4 over 2, right? That's an equivalent fraction. It's gonna create the same line. So I'm gonna go down 4. So here's 2, 4, and then I'm gonna go over 2, right? And there we go. There's my next point. Okay, do it again, down 4 over 2, down 4 over 2, you might notice that, hey, it's actually the same, just going down 2 and over 1. But it is very important that you guys keep track of this because I have seen countless mistakes where you guys treat each square as a single unit, whereas it's not supposed to be. Okay, so just double check. Be safe, okay? All right, so there's my equation. I have a negative slope, and there we go. So using my graph, I'm gonna find 3 more solutions to this equation. So I'm just gonna find some more points on this line. So I see 8, 4. I see 6, 8. And then I see 4, 12. And there we go. All right, let's keep going. Suppose that there are 12 members of the ski resort who rent equipment. What equation relating x and y describes this condition? So another way to think about these 12 members is that there are going to be 12 rentals in total. Okay, so my equation, let me change colors now so that way we don't get confused. So my equation is going to be set equal to 12, right? Because 12 total rentals. Now I know that I'm going to have some sort of mathematical operation between x and y on the left side, and we've been combining these things. So I think we're just going to follow suit, and this is my equation. So the number of ski rentals plus the number of snowboard rentals should equal 12. All right, we're going to find 2 solutions to my equation. So I think an obvious one is 6 and 6. And then I'm going to also include, let's do 0 and 12. Suppose the resort's daily goal includes an income of $80 and 12 member rentals. Write a system of equations that describes these conditions. So now this problem's kind of combining everything that we've learned, right? So lastly, we need to write a system of equations. Fortunately, we've already written 2 equations here. The first one was this 8x plus 4y equals 80. So 8x plus 4y is equal to 80. And then we have our second equation, which is x plus y is equal to 12. Okay, and then, yeah, see, they even told us, you already wrote each equation in numbers 2 and 5. Now we need to find the solution. I'm going to solve this by combination, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to multiply my bottom equation I'm going to multiply it by 4 because I want to get rid of those y's. Okay, so my new equation comes out to 4x plus 4y is equal to 48. Okay, and so now my my y coefficients match. And because they're the same sign, I'm going to subtract them. So let's see what happens. 8x minus 4x, well, that's 4x. These are going to cancel out. And then 80 minus 48, let's see, that's going to be 2, and it's going to be, there we go. So 32. 4x equals 32. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. My solution is going to come up here. X equals 8. All right. Now I can plug this into one of my original equations, or my multiplied equation there. So I'm going to plug in 8 for x. So 8 plus y is equal to 12. Subtract 8 from both sides, and you're left with y is equal to 4. So it looks like our solution is 8, 4. And there we go. All right, we're going to solve each system of linear equations. There's only 2 here, okay? So again, it's up to you guys to determine which method we should use to solve. You could use any of the methods. Graphing might be the most difficult because you don't have graphs given to you. So I think here they want us to solve it algebraically. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So I see the bottom equation being easily changeable. So I'm going to get rid of my y's. So I'm going to multiply this entire equation by 2. So now out comes 2x plus 2y is equal to 4. And now my coefficients of y are the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the 2 equations. Right, so I'm looking at the very top equation and the very bottom equation now. Okay, so 3x minus 2x, well, that's just x. These two y's are going to cancel out. 9 minus 4 is 5. Hey, look at that. That was pretty simple. Now let's plug this back in. So I have 5 for x plus y is equal to 2. I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. So y is equal to negative 3. So my solution is 5, negative 3. You guys can write your solutions as coordinate pairs. Or if you want, I've always written them just like x equals 5 and y equals negative 3. But whatever floats your boat. Unless it tells you to write them as a solution or as an ordered pair. Okay. Number 2, I noticed that one of these equations is in slope-intercept form, and then the other one is in standard form. So I'm just going to use substitution. So negative 16x plus, and then I have my y, so I'm just going to plug in this top equation for y there. So plus 12x minus 6 is equal to 10. Let's combine like terms. I can combine these two x coefficients. So negative 16 plus 12 is negative 4x minus 6. Bring down whatever's left over. I'm going to add 6 to both sides, right? Getting that variable isolated. Negative 4x is equal to 16. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. And x is equal to negative 4. Let's go ahead and plug this back into our slope-intercept equation. So 12 times negative 4 minus 6, negative 48 minus 6. So y is equal to negative 54. Let's double check that. So negative 54, I'm just plugging this into my equation, is equal to 12 times negative 4 minus 6. Negative 48 minus 6 is indeed negative 54. So this works. Okay, and there's my solution right there. Don't forget to circle your answers, guys. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell what is what, and I don't want to mark you off. Okay, so just put a box around them, or circle them, or highlight them, whatever floats your boat. Okay. All right, moving on to inequalities. So remember, inequalities we need to solve, and then we need to graph. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to solve these exactly like how we solve equations. I'm going to add 8 to both sides, so we're going to get the variable by itself. Okay, 9x is less than 18. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 9, so x is less than 2. Okay, so I'm going to find 2 on my number line. Is this going to be an open or closed circle? Well, because of my inequality sign here, it doesn't have a line underneath. It's not less than or equal to. That means this is going to be an open circle around 2. Okay, And I want to show all of the values of x that is less than 2. So less than 2 just so happens to be to the left of 2. And there's my graph. All right, here we go. I want to review what happens with a negative sign, so I'm gonna use that here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to subtract 15x from both sides. Okay, so I'm left with 7 on the left is greater than or equal to negative 8x minus 17. Okay, I'm going to continue solving like normal. I'm going to add 17 to both sides. So this becomes 24 is greater than or equal to negative 8x. So in order to get x isolated, I need to divide both sides by negative 8. Okay, and I know that 24 divided by negative 8 is negative 3. Now, and then these negative 8s are going to cancel out, so I just have an x left over. Because I'm dividing by negative 8, and this is important, because I'm dividing by negative 8, my inequality sign changes. Okay, do not forget this. This is super important. Otherwise, you will graph incorrect solutions. All right, so x is, so I can read this as negative 3 is less than or equal to x, or I can read this as x is greater than or equal to negative 3. So I'm going to find negative 3 on my number line, which is right here. And because it's a less than or equal to, I'm going to say that I have a shaded or a closed circle around the point negative 3. Okay, and I need to show the values that are greater than negative 3, and that is moving to the right. And there we go. Okay, so I know we haven't used all of the pages in your workbook, so if you guys are still struggling, I highly suggest you guys practice some of the pages we did not do. Okay, it's all good, and really guys, all this takes is practice. If you're struggling with it, it just takes some practice, and that's, and that's all we can do. All right, you guys, happy studying, and I will see you in the next lesson.